We will continue reading chapter 8 of Prabupada Lilamrita book. Lord Chaitanya and his immediate followers had an especially intimate relationship with Vrindavana. Lord Chaitanya had commissioned Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami to uncover the places of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavana that over the centuries had become lost. Rupa and Sanatana had left their prestigious government posts and gone to live in Vrindavana. Dressed in simple loincloths, they had lived without fixed residence, staying each night under a different tree. They and Jiva Goswami, Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, and Gopala Bhatta Goswami, known and worshipped as the six Goswamis of Vrindavana, had compiled a voluminous literature on Krishna Bhakti. They had inspired wealthy Vaishnava patrons to erect Vrindavana's great temples, Govindaji, Madana Mohana, Radha Damodara, Radha Ramana. At Radhakunda, shortly after Lord Chaitanya's departure from the world, Raghunatha Dasa Goswami had chanted 100,000 names of Krishna and discoursed for several hours daily on the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. There also, Krishnadasa Kaviraja had compiled the Chaitanya Charitamrita describing the life of teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Even those Gaudiya Vaishnavas who did not live in Vrindavana kept Vrindavana always in their hearts and proclaimed its glories. The Chaitanya Charitamrita describes the great ecstasy Lord Chaitanya felt while traveling from Puri to Vrindavana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mind was absorbed in ecstatic love at Jagannatha Puri when he passed along the road on the way to Vrindavana. The love increased 100 times. The Lord's ecstatic love increased 1,000 times when he visited Mathura, but it increased 100,000 times when he wandered in the forests of Vrindavana. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was elsewhere, the very name of Vrindavana was sufficient to increase his ecstatic love. Now, when he was actually traveling in the Vrindavana forest, his mind was absorbed in great ecstatic love day and night. He ate and bathed simply out of habit. Vrindavana is the earthly manifestation of Lord Krishna's eternal spiritual abode, which the Lord Himself describes in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, another nature which is eternal and is transcendental to manifested and unmanifested matter. It is never annihilated. It is supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode. Krishna's activities of eternity, bliss and knowledge and his abode, Goloka, Vrindavana are described in many Vedic literatures. I worship Govinda, a primeval lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desires in abodes built in spiritual gems, where he is surrounded by millions of purpose trees and always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis and Gopis. Although Lord Krishna's abode, Goloka Vrindavana, is far beyond the material world, when Krishna comes to earth, he displays his eternal abode in the Vrindavana of India. The 84 square mile tract in North India is identical with the eternal world in the spiritual sky. Although to live and die in Vrindavana guarantees the devotees transfer to the eternal spiritual world. The residents of Vrindavana, even the animals, are exalted. At the end of life, they will transfer to Goloka Vrindavana. Lord Brahma therefore prayed that he might take birth as a clump of grass on the outskirts of Vrindavana so that these pure devotees would purify him with the dust from their feet. And Vaishnava Shastras declare that even by only a brief visit to Vrindavana, one can realize the Supreme Lord in his heart. Chaitanya Charitamrita states, like the transcendental body of Lord Krishna, Goloka is all pervading, infinite, and supreme. It expands both above and below without any restriction. That abode is manifested within the material world by the will of Lord Krishna. It is identical to that original Goloka. They are not two different bodies. The land there is touchstone, Chintamani, and the forests abound with desert trees. Although material eyes see it is an ordinary place, the ideal place to execute Krishna consciousness is Vrajabhumi or Vrindavana, where people are naturally inclined to love Krishna and Krishna is naturally inclined to love them. The train arrived at Mathura. Abhay stepped down with his luggage and looked around, noting the recently constructed Mathura Junction building. Proceeding through the gate and out of the station, he found a Tanga driver, agreed on the fare, and started for Keshighat. For half a mile, the wobbling horse drawn cart followed the road between the tracks and the railway yard. At the main road, they turned left, passed under a railroad bridge, and entered an open market. Piles of fruits, vegetables, and grains were displayed on the ground, their vendors sitting beside them, bartering and measuring while customers milled about. The women of Mathura, dressed in brightly colored saris, yellows, greens, pinks, and purples, moved busily in the market. The vehicular traffic consisted mostly of bullock carts, the drivers often squatting on the wooden yokes between the shoulders of their animals, whipping alternately one ox and then the other with a length of rope joined a wooden handle. Although this was the most populated area in the trip to Vrindavana compared to Delhi, it seemed simple and rural. Hare Krishna.